Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today I have my 5 takeaway series covering 5 Dynasty topics from week 11. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's go. So, JJ McCarthy continues to tank the Vikings offense. It was not good. And in order to get through the topic of talking about JJ McCarthy, I have to go to another place. I have to bring in my alter ego. 10 is here to talk about JJ McCarthy. So I'm only going to refer to myself as 10 for the rest of this video. My not so good friend 9, what a joke, flopped 16 of 32 for 150 yards, 4.7 yards per attempt, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, no rushing yards. He's a joke. JJ McCarthy, 9, is a joke. He can't play. He's bad. And, despite the fact that he was not good in college, really, I mean, he won a lot of games, not doing that in the NFL, didn't show anything as a volume passer. Lots of teams passed on him in the NFL draft. And then there were some crazy people. You know who they are. Think about big name fantasy analysts. They insisted that this 9 person is good based on nothing at all. He's bad. I'm sorry. He's bad. Get over it. He is bad. He has been bad all year. He has shown me nothing to say that he's going to be good. You have receivers complaining. Justin Jefferson, tantrums all over the place coming off the field. Another tantrum today. He was fine. It didn't look so good. Jordan Addison, not a good game. I mean, dropping the ball, but some throws to Jordan Addison were horrible. The touchdown on the last drive was nice, I guess. It's the only reason why we're not talking about this in a more negative fashion. JJ McCarthy, it's great. He played well in 1 minute of the game. What about the other 59 minutes? If he'd played well during that period of time, maybe we wouldn't be talking about this. And, just to talk about this a little bit more, because this just infuriates me. These people who are on big channels, they just are so bought in that they can't get over it. For 2 years, they've been talking about this 9 as good. He's bad. He's really bad. And they need to adjust immediately because he's closer to not being a starter next year. Now, what would I do because of this? Well, I'm certainly not buying low on 9, but Jordan Addison, still young, good player, tough game this week. I do think we've seen a lot from him. He's 23. There's still time for a new quarterback to come in and fix this problem. He was good with Carson Wentz. So I'd consider buying low. But this is a shit show. Dumpster fire. The Vikings are 4-6. It's unacceptable. 9 has been unacceptable. And, I think we should take a look at some of those people. You know who they are. Those people who insisted that JJ McCarthy would be an upgrade over Sam Darnold. Those crazy people. Take a look at them. Maybe reconsider if you're listening to them very often because they have no idea what they're talking about. Next. And again, we might need my alter ego 10 to get through this because this made me upset in a different way. Instead of angry, this made me upset because Michael Penix was playing so well. He averaged 10.9 yards per attempt. He completed 13 of 16 passes. Really was getting into a groove. Penix has been fine this year. Not great, but he's been fine. I mean, he's completed, decent number of passes. Over 7 yards per attempt. He's been fine. But a season-ending knee injury is just brutal. It's brutal. Kirk Cousins came in and was abysmal. You saw the difference between the two quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins was horrible. Michael Penix was good with the same weapons. And then Drake London. All of this production came with Penix. There was one catch for 6 yards with Cousins. Then a PCL sprain in overtime. Who knows when London will come back? I don't know. I mean, I'd buy low on London. I've always loved Drake London. always performed well, always had good advanced numbers. We saw great numbers last year. This year, even better numbers. He was really kind of taking over. I was really happy to see it. But this news is just sucks. I don't know if we see London again. The Falcons are 3-7. What do they have to play for? Are they going to bring London back? I don't know. I don't know what their strategy is going to be on that. Is Raheem Morris going to be fired? Potentially. We have to see. So with Drake London, you're in a holding pattern. With Michael Penix, at this point, until you have more information on that injury, you're probably in a holding pattern. Where you're not in a holding pattern is on these two. Kirk Cousins, who has been horrible every time we've seen him. There are going to be teams desperate for a quarterback. If you have Kirk Cousins on your roster somehow, I would sell him immediately for anything you can get. He's terrible, done, cooked, washed, over. Darnell Mooney has looked awful all year. There's some will say, well, now that Drake London is out, Darnell Mooney will step up. He will do this. He will do that. He didn't do that the last time that Drake London was out. He's really looked bad. I'm not buying it. So I would think anything for Darnell Mooney, really. Kirk Cousins the same. So I say hi in question marks, in quotation. But those two can go for me immediately. Now, next up. And again, this is kind of, not my favorite thing to talk about either. Bhayshul Tuten was breaking out. He was leading the Jaguars in touches over the first quarter. He was seeing more of the work compared to Travis Etienne. Had a good game. 15 carries, 74 yards, touchdown. But then an ankle injury came. We don't know how long Tuten is going to miss. Could be some time. It might not be. We don't know. But it's sad that the breakout game was caught short because after Tuten left, Etienne got everything and was decent. I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns himself. A little less efficient than Tuten, but he was running behind Tuten before the injury. Tuten was getting the majority of the work. So for me, I did see a shift in the backfield, and I think we've seen now what's going to happen. For me, both of these players I would consider selling high on. I think we've kind of seen what we want to do here, what the Jaguars are interested in doing. Etienne is from so many regimes ago. I mean, this was an Urban Meyer pick in 2021. This was forever ago. He's in the final year of his deal. I don't think Travis Etienne is part of Liam Cohen's plans. I don't think so. I think Travis Etienne has been fine. I think he's played okay. It's not like Javonte Williams, who I think has really been above and beyond. Etienne, I think, has been fine. It's been fine. But we see that the guy that Cohen drafted and, James Gladstone also was part of, Tuten, finally started to see more of the work. And for those reasons, running back, going to be 27, heading into free agency, Etienne is not someone I'm interested in long term. As for Tuten, I do think Tuten is not a workhorse. I'm not saying I dislike Tuten. I just don't want to get carried away. He is someone who has value. I think he's someone going to be a part of this team next year. Are we going to have Bhayshul Tuten as an RB1? I doubt it. I don't see that as likely. I think he's going to be in some sort of split with someone else, a new player. And again, I think he's more of a committee back. I don't want to say a change of pace, but someone who adds kind of an explosive element, someone who can take some touches, but not someone who should be out on the field every snap, not someone who should be taking 20 carries a game. I don't see that from Bhayshul Tuten. That's not the type of player I think of him as. So we will see. But because of the ankle injury, you may have to hold on the selling idea, but I would look for a window. He's not a player I'm assigning a massive value to long term. But definitely gained some value this week. So I do want to say that about Bhayshul Tuten. I liked what I saw before the injury. Now, if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. I'm offering a 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using code TylerYT50. Type that code in at checkout. You get 50% off your first month. You can click on the link in the top right corner, patreon.com/fantasyadvice, and get that 50% off discount. You can get all my rankings, including weekly start sit, access to the Discord, write-ups, Patreon-only videos, direct message fantasy advice, and the ability to ask in advance questions for the YouTube videos. Tiers begin at just $6 a month, $3 with the discount. Now, If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my Why You Should Join the Patreon videos on the channel. And I'm trying to talk about the Patreon more on the videos. I know we're getting toward the end of the season. I know, it's more difficult to get people to sign up, but I love doing content in the off season. This is a year-round project for me. So I'm hoping to see more people sign up. And you'll get to talk about ball with me year-round. And I know that will be something that has a lot of value. There'll be yearly write-ups, and there'll be a lot coming in the off season. So again, I'm looking forward to that. Patreon.com/fantasy advice. Use code TylerYT50 for 50% off your first month. With that said, I'll move into my next topic. So speaking of a player that I talked about a lot on the Patreon, one player I liked a lot during rookie season, there was a lot of doubt, I think, about Tetairoa McMillan. And he was always a player I believed in, always a player I thought would be very good. And this week, we finally saw it in full. 8 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns on 12 targets. Had a really good game. He was the alpha, really got things going. I loved what I saw from Tetairoa McMillan. He's clearly a dynasty wide receiver 1. I think, we have to kind of see exactly where to rank him. But, right now he's in my top 10. If you want to see my dynasty rankings, you can get those on the Patreon. That's where I talk more about exactly where I have players ranked. But Tetairoa McMillan, very, very solid dynasty value for me. Player I've been recommending buying. If you were on the Patreon, you would have been buying him. I've been talking about this all season. I've been talking about this probably more than any other player, other than perhaps Drake London, who I'm sad about the injury, but those two have been the players I've been talking about a lot. And honestly, Drake London is a very good comparison for Tetairoa McMillan. I think they have a lot in common as players, which is a good thing. Drake London's been great this year. So comparing Tetairoa McMillan to Drake London is a compliment. Now, the one player I'm not buying in on is Bryce Young. I've seen this enough times. I know that Bryce Young is bad. I am not buying it. I am not buying it after one good game. I know better. This was a career game. 31 and 45 for 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 10 yards per attempt. We have a disease in fantasy football, a disease of recency bias. Whatever happened the most recently, well, that's going to happen forever. No, it's not. Even counting this game, Young still 62.7% completion, 6.2 yards per attempt. That's awful. And he's been under 200 passing yards in 8 of 10 games. 8 of 10 games, he has not delivered a passable performance. Yes, this was good, but this was just one game. I am not buying it. I am not buying it at all with Bryce Young. Bryce Young is bad. I have seen enough of Bryce Young that one game is not going to change my mind. Bryce Young is bad quarterback. He consistently fails when put in difficult situations, and he's someone I do not trust. If now someone is saying, well, they're 6-5, Bryce Young might be good. No. He's not good. He's not good. He's been bad his entire career. I have a large sample size to say that he is a bad quarterback, and it would take, play 7 good games in a row. Okay, maybe you change my mind. 1 game out of 10? So, I'm totally passing on anything to do with Bryce Young. Now, the last one, Kyler Murray was holding the Cardinals' receiving weapons back. And I do think so. And I'm not just picking this topic because Michael Wilson was in the stash video, but he was. So, if you'd watch that, you might have added him or something. But I think it's abundantly clear that Kyler Murray was the problem here for both McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson too, or any other receiving weapon playing here, because at the end of the day, the offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, has not changed. Jacoby Brissett comes in, and suddenly everything is fine. Now, this week was exceptional. I mean, Brissett, 47 to 57. He set a record for completions, 452 yards, 2 touchdowns. We're not going to get a game like this all of the time, but we were able to see passing volume. We have seen it with Brissett consistently. We have also seen that without Kyler Murray, who seemed to just not work with, we never really saw Kyler Murray be that great with Drew Petzing and Jonathan Gannon. The Kyler Murray great seasons were before that. And it wasn't working. But somehow now that it's Jacoby Brissett, the top options are being delivered the ball. Trey McBride, delivered the ball, 11 targets, 10, 115, and 1. Suddenly, Trey McBride is allowed to score touchdowns. We see that. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. was out for this game. Michael Wilson, their only even half-decent wide receiver, suddenly hyper-targeted. 15 catches, 185 yards on 18 targets. Now, you could say, well, why didn't Marvin Harrison Jr. do that? I am saying that could be a negative. But it's also a positive for me that the problem here was clearly Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was just not delivering the ball to these weapons. Even Greg Dortch had 6 catches, 66 yards, touchdown, and 6 targets. Now, I do think if Marvin Harrison Jr. had been here for this game, he would have produced. He would have had a big game. And I think that he is now a very strong buy. I think it was clear that the problem was Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was the problem. Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, appendectomy. He could return in the next week or two, I think. I don't know. Hopefully it's this week. We'll see. But again, the Cardinals receivers got going. I don't have an issue with Drew Petzing's offensive game plan here. He had, Zay Jones was out, Achilles tear. Marvin Harrison Jr. out. Amari DiMercado gets hurt. The best plan is to have the 3 NFL quality players, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and Greg Dortch. Those are the 3 players that belong in the NFL. Use those in the receiving game. He planned for that. Maybe we were too hard on Drew Petzing. Maybe the problem was just Kyler Murray. Now, you could blame Petzing for not working with Murray. You could say that. But clearly, Murray has got to go. This is not going to work. You're not going to bring everything back. So we'll see. But again, Marvin Harrison Jr. for me, someone I consider buying because I do think better days are ahead. I do not think Marvin Harrison Jr. is bad. He was too good in college and has flashed too much in the NFL to be bad. So I think better days are ahead for Marvin Harrison Jr. and definitely would be someone I consider buying. All right, we'll go into the Patreon questions. A lot of these are kind of like vague questions, so we won't take too much time on those. You're a strong contender who happens to have good draft capital in the offseason. Are you personally using those for young depth players first for prolonged value, or shop them in the offseason to bring on more impactful players immediately? Yeah. So this is not a question that has an answer. I'm using them in the best way I can in the league. In some cases, that's to get young players. In some cases, nobody wants to make good offers, so I'm just making the picks. There's no answer to this question. The answer to this question is on the Patreon. I'll take care of it for you, but there's no global answer for this question. These are not the types of questions that have global answers. Regarding stashes for next season, do you advise contenders and rebuilders to target the same stashes? Okay, so when I do the 2026 Dynasty stashes, those are more targeted at rebuilding teams because we're talking about next year. Occasionally, there are stashes who could play well down the stretch. And at the end of the day, valuable Dynasty players are valuable Dynasty players. So in some senses, yes, but I'm not really sure how I would differentiate this so much. Again, another question where it's like overthinking it, like it's not that complicated. It's not that deep. We just want to target the better players no matter what. And you'll almost never see stashes for next year be described as old players anyway. I'm usually not recommending that. Anyway. It's another kind of vague one. If you're a winning team who got hit with the injury bug, is it better to sell remaining vets or buy vets to attempt to make the run? Yeah, there's no real answer to this. I mean, it depends on your team, right? I mean, it depends on how many picks you have to sell. It depends on how many holes you have to fill, right? I mean, there's a lot of considerations to weigh, but it depends on what your record is, where you are exactly in the standings. So, depends on the situation. Are there any actionable Dynasty takeaways you've learned so far from the 2025 season? Yeah, injuries suck. You got to have depth more than ever. But I said that coming into the season. If you were a patron, you'd know. I said that 100 times. Said that 100 times. Whatever your lineup looks like it is, however many players you think you need more than that. But again, I told you that. I told you that in advance. So that's not something I learned. That's something I already knew. But I think everyone has learned that now the hard way. In terms of like specific things, like player stuff, I mean, I've learned that JSN is elite. Drake May is elite. Offensive line play definitely matters. I mean, I think I've always known that, but I've seen with the Chargers, it illustrated in very clear picture how much it matters, because it literally goes from the best offense in the league or close to it to can't do anything at all with the offensive line injuries. Something to consider moving forward. Yeah, those are a few things. With trade deadlines approaching and injuries mounting, is there a time now versus right before the deadline to maximize the return for guys scoring points? Okay. For me, if I'm selling, I'm always willing to explore it. I want to do an offer that works for me. If I can do that now, I'm rebuilding. I don't have to take the risk of that player gets hurt on my team, then I can't sell them. So to me, there's no real reason to wait if you're rebuilding. Take action. And that's always what I say. It's less about timing. I'm not sure timing is what I'd focus on, but it's take action. Don't wait for people to come to you. You have to send out offers. You have to do work. You have to look at other teams, look at what they need, look at what picks they have. Think about what teams to target. Don't wait for it to come to you. So in terms of the timing, I'm fine with any timing, but why not try now? And then if it doesn't work, you can try again later. You get 2 chances at it instead of just 1. So that's my take on that. Now, if you like the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing, and don't forget to hit that new hype button to help the videos in the algorithm. Plus, hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Of course, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon. If you want to see me get heated more than for a minute, the Patreon, I get heated all the time. So if you like that, you'll love the Patreon. If you like passionate takes and passionate Dynasty content, I deliver that on the Patreon for good and for bad. And you can get that patreon.com/fantasy advice. Use code TylerYT50 for 50% off your first month. Every sign up helps support my independent content. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.